Hey, I'm Lauren Teresa. Welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time. I wanted to talk about the top three reasons why I am creating a slower life and why you might want to too. I'm a former trauma therapist, single mom of two. I live in Hawaii and I am semi retired early. We'll see. One thing I did learn about early retirement is that there is no such thing as wanting to do nothing forever. I am a homebody. I love being here. I love cooking, cleaning, not really, but I like a clean home. I really enjoy peace and quiet and a life where I get to dictate what I do when I do it, like waking up and going to sleep. I'm going to dive right in. The reason I'm creating a slower life is creation versus consumption. I know this is a hot topic, and there's plenty of research, pro and con, for scrolling social media, especially short form versus long form content, and how none of us can read a book anymore, myself included. And actually, really, the last 6 months, I really started to focus on wanting to be able to read a book again. I used to love reading books. Right now, the best I can do is long form content. And I watch YouTube videos. In the mornings, I'll start with slow living, minimalism, or frugal content. It is like a meditation to me, and it is soothing for my brain. I highly recommend, if you're coming off other addictions to media, social media, television, TikTok, reels, short form content, switching to long form content is a good way to retrain your brain, and it is still difficult. I want to become a creator, not just a consumer. When I'm scrolling on TikTok, I feel envy for other content creators. I saw a woman building her cabin over 3 years, teaching herself carpentry. She knew some from her upbringing, becoming a master carpenter. The quality and beauty of not just her physical home, but the video and editing that she was doing to create this beautiful 3 year synopsis in 1 hour was breathtaking. I felt envy because I would love to create like that. I have debated going back to film school or taking a documentary course. I know I want to do it eventually, but I really want to start with what's free on YouTube and maybe some community classes at my library. There are digital classes in my library a few times a year for free. So check out your local library. That anxiety that I feel when I'm watching other people create in ways that I would like to create is my signal to turn everything off and make something. Even if it's like I did today, I meal prepped before this video. Yeah. And so on that note, I know that this one is maybe a little bit lengthy, but it's because it's number one for a reason. And that comparing myself and scrolling media and the inundation that we have of information and knowledge all the time at our fingertips can create anxiety. And it also is so having rules for yourself on how much to consume versus create is a great place to start. Now, we're not stronger than dopamine algorithms, but there are ways to live happily in this modern world. I give myself certain times of the day for short form content, and it's very small now. I remember growing up thinking I was really wanted to be in a relationship with a rock star, right? When I was 14 to 20, I did date a few band people. All the stereotypical things happened. They would go on the road and things would happen. And there was I back at home. And then I remember one time after getting sober thinking I'm never going to date a musician ever again. But that groupie mentality or desire to be around beautiful creation is innate. Inspiration is important. When I feel envious or in awe, I think there's a part of me that wants to become that. I was driving around at 24 saying I was never going to date a musician ever again. And I looked over and I saw this sign on music school that said, learn to play guitar here. I walked in, signed up, and I started taking music lessons. I took guitar lessons for a year and a half and voice lessons. I had a couple of shows. Turns out the rock star life is not for me, but I felt whole and complete. And then I felt like musician or no musician, whatever. Some of my ex-partners have been musicians and some not, and I think they're all lovely. So don't come for me if you are a musician. Reason number two, I am creating a slower life because I have finally, at almost 43 years old, decided that I would rather be happy than right. I felt my whole life to be right was to be happy. Winning an argument, having the last word, being understood by people around me was so important that I was over explaining, justifying my actions and decisions to other people. I was an extreme people pleaser and codependent. This need for approval was killing me. For someone in recovery for over 18 years, from becoming aware of my addiction to people liking me, maybe that being the primary addiction, I am finally at a place in my life where I have boundaries. I don't allow certain energies into my life. I let things come and go naturally, and I'm kind but honest, stopping and centering myself, standing up for my joy and passion, which is slow living and minimalism and frugality, being a good mom, but also having a life of my own. And yeah, teaching other people and giving back in that way. That's very important to me. I know why the caged bird sings. I want to create a slower life to live to my fullest. I believe women can live the life that they want. If they want to move to a cabin in the middle of the woods and become a carpenter and a YouTube creator and not have a relationship and not have kids, then they have the right to do that. And if they want to live in the big city and do the opposite of that, also fine, or anywhere in between. And I often think of my grandmothers when it comes to previous versions of myself and being programmed to want certain things because it was seen as better or best, and be trapped in a life that didn't fit me because we're all unique and some of us want one life and some of us want another, but we're all fed a similar script, especially if you're an elder millennial, zennial, or Gen Z. There was a script given to women for what was going to make us happy and fulfilled. And some got those things and realized that we were, in fact, not fitting into the box that was prescribed to us. So I think the number 3 reason on figuring out who I am at a core level so that I can be honest with those around me, even if it isn't what society wants me to do or be, it's important that I follow the tune in my heart, not others. I hope you got something from these videos. I will work on getting them to be bigger and better as a former shopaholic and consumer and overspender to someone who is saving up, because I would love to buy a house in Hawaii and pay it off early. Considering they're almost $1 million, here we go. Thank you so much for being here.